All right, so the main reason that I'm looking at this is this. I'm going to give you a comparison. That's white. Let's get this cleaned up. Very soon, this is going to be permanently stained. Find out here in a second. Yeah, I think this guy is permanently stained. I don't think I'm getting that off of there. All right, so right now this is not loading into Windows. So let's, you can see, yeah, this thing has seen much better days. What do we have here? All right, let's whip out the vacuum. We'll put our brush. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. If you like these videos, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. All right. So we have two drives. Is this actually in here? I think this might be empty. Well, so we have our memory, and over here we have our actual hard drive, and then your sneaky little USB in there. All right, real quick, let's get this turned on and see if we can't isolate why this isn't actually booting into Windows. What you can't really see is that there is underneath the glass over here, that's under, like that, all that fogging you're seeing is under the glass. Yes, that is from smoking. Not that old, Emily. Like 4 years old, 5 years old. Just smoking does a lot of damage to everything. So if you're spraying some sort of liquid down on the bottom here, make sure you don't spray directly into these holes. Those are speakers. And because they're speakers, means they're just open. Well, let's get this thing, we got this cleaned up a little bit. Let's get it powered on, see if we can't figure out what's going on with it real quick. The power is over here, so we need HDMI in. Yeah, even everything over here on this side is just like completely plugged up. This thing is seen much better days. I'm not getting anything out of this guy. So it looks like we have a short, because we are not getting power. We're not getting power at all. Let's take the bottom off. Let's take a look at it. See if we can identify what the short is. So this is the motherboard here. It's coming this way. So we're gonna need to get this whole guy off, because we need to check not only the motherboard itself to see if the power is making it up through this rail. Then we also need to check to see if there's something on the motherboard that would be causing that short. Just another reason not to smoke. Look at that. Rotate this a wee bit so I have better access to it. All right, so what we have is we have this power board that's here, comes in, goes through a cable. That cable comes out here. So let's get this off, and then we can find out if it's getting power. We have 1, 2, follow this around. We have 3. And you know what I didn't mention? This is an HP Envy all-in-one 23 014. I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning. All right, so now what we can do is we can take this, put this on voltage. On voltage, we're going to take our HP power cord, which is down here, plug it back in, plug this in over here. We still get no light on this. But now, let's see, which cable is this? This is, it's one of these gray ones, which I'm assuming it's going to be this guy. What kind of voltages we get? And the cooler looks like it's not in great shape. It's got a bunch of ash on it. Just quickly glancing at the motherboard before I start probing. I don't see anything that looks burnt out. So, let me pull this back. We can figure out what's what on this cable. Alright, so this is LAN. And this is DCN. Alright, so we know that this guy here is ground. Let's start probing. Nothing. Nothing. 19 volts. 19 volts. 19 volts. Nothing. 17 volts. Alright, so we know we're getting power through this, which means that whatever's going on with this is happening after this plug. Start with the simple thing of resetting this. Do that out for a few seconds. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. We get no life out of this guy whatsoever. Which sure is a 90-watt charger. This should 100% turn this on. Let's see if we can find some voltages around the board. We're gonna gently try and remove this. See what happens. Let's unplug that. This is gonna be this should be a two-piece hinge. It's always a game of figuring out how the engineers want this done. When you do this, there's going to be a specific way that this needs to come off of here. You have to release from this side a little bit. That folds down, and use something as a hook. Get underneath it. This is another one of those annoying things where I have to get to the motherboard. So we're going to be taking out some screws. This whole mechanism is held together. Just 4 heavy-duty screws. This base is not light. That right there, all I wanted to do. Let's move this out of the way. Like, looking at this, it's almost as if the engineers want you to put this here, because that's kind of empty space. All right, now we're gonna try and follow some voltages here. See if we can find anything. That's out of the way. Does this come off? Yes, it can. Those go together. Heal this just a little bit. Some adhesive. All right, let's check voltages here. I'm seeing 19 volts there. Is it just the power switch that's the problem? That would be nice, right? Well, power switch is under this. What the hell is this? Very curious. All right, well, whatever it is, we need to get it removed. Well, let's just pull this up. All of these internal ones are the same. Just need to trace on the bottom. No, this is our switch. Let me put this back on. See what I'm working on, I do believe. Nope, that's bottom. Alright, so we're gonna follow power. Want to check. Should have voltage right here. This, which is the power switch, should be electricity making its way up to here. So no power is even making it up to here, which is the actual switch that turns this on. So that means we have to have, we end up having a short somewhere. We have a short there. But if that's the GPU, this is the GPU circuit, this is the CPU. There's a short on this whole plug. Every single one of these. Yeah, so every single one of these is freaking shorted. And this is for the power switch itself. So power isn't even making it up there. All right, well, we need to investigate. Let's see if we can find a hotspot. Yeah, seeing 0 voltage there, just confirming things. See if we can find. Yeah, he said it wasn't getting to Windows, but he wasn't very clear about that. So, all right, let's see if anything spikes up, because this is a pretty big board. All right, let's pull the board. And then we'll do a little bit more checking. This instantly started taking a lot longer than I hoped it would. All right, so we need to get a pretty good picture of everything that's here, because there's a lot of cables that need to get unplugged. So let me do something a little bit different. We're gonna zoom in here. Gonna make sure that we can see where all of these cables get removed from. So that one, it's this one. This one here is actually grounded, so we're just going to pay attention to that. There's this one. Lift from the connector on this one. And we got this guy. That one goes there. This one's going to be hard to see, so we're going to undo that. That one. There's all of those. Now we have another batch here. It's our DC power. Whatever this is. What we're going to do is we're going to peel that back a little bit, and we're just going to remove that entirely. Now we need to remove the CPU cooler. Make sure you do this the correct way. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to make sure you follow your screws. And then it's got to be. Set that off to the side. All right, so that should be all of our ancillary cables except for this one. Just going to go over here because I do believe this goes over. Oh, no, this goes right to there. All right, now there are more screws holding this thing together than there are bolts on the Titanic. Got to get this giant desktop motherboard that they shoehorned in here out. Then we're going to check the other side. See if we can't follow that short and locate whatever's actually bad, figure out what it is, find a schematic possibly, and then get it replaced. So there's an actual, like a straight through connector right here I need to worry about. Got 2 power MOSFETs over here. Yeah, we'll start probing. Set that up there. Move that over there. Man, it would be nice if there was an easy way to get power to this board That's the bottom, that's the top. But what I'm going to have to do, come over here, find our DC in cable, which should be this one, plug our DC in cable in like so. And now I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to plug that in, and I'm going to look at this side to see if we see any hotspots on this side. Just from having power connected, doesn't look like it. There are any dark hotspots, any subtle changes in temperatures just from, like I said, we're just looking at, hey, we're providing it power. Is anything getting hot? No. The smoke this thing has had run through it has definitely left this thing worse for wear. All right, multimeter. We can't locate any shorts. But we already know there's some shorts in this area. Make sure we have good continuity. Immediately we have a short here. So let's look at these. Let's look at these power MOSFETs that we have up here. There's some here. Nothing came off on that. Nope. And we'll whip out the microscope here in a second. We have our power comes in right here. This is the bottom of our power connector. Interesting. I should have should be our current sense resistors. Does this thing have continuity through itself? It does. That's still fine. We immediately have a short, like, right away. Let's whip out the camera. Okay. Gonna keep on probing here. So as I was saying, this is where our main power comes in. Do we have a short directly on main power? I think we do. This part of this circuit is fine. But these guys are shorted. Right? What's on the other side of it? Literally just a connector on the other side of that. This connector. No, these are capacitors. So when you look at a motherboard, you can tell, like, some motherboards do this quite nicely, other boards don't. It'll tell you what it is just by looking at the first letter. So this, it's an R, so it's a resistor, and this is component 418 on this board. This is a capacitor. This is a capacitor C. This is so C for capacitor, and it's component 355 on the board. So when these are being assembled, someone can look at an assembly sheet and say, hey, I accidentally damaged C355, I need a new one. So they can just go look at the data sheet and it'll say, hey, what goes in C355 is this specific capacitor. You have D for diode, and P can mean different things on different boards, so you have to actually look that up. Same thing with L. But P is usually an integrated circuit of some sort, which is what this is. But this is bothering me. I think this, do believe that is actually the way that's supposed to be. Now power comes in. So for that to not be shorted, these two pins, probably these two pins right here, it shorts these two pins together. Let's just move over here a little bit. See if we have a short there. So let's see what our capacitance is here. It's like 1 ohm. What about this side? So this is the ground side, this is the not ground side. This goes directly to this chip. Great. That looks fun. Yep, so this is our power button. You can see there's a short here. That should not be shorted. And these multi-layer boards, it's real hard to follow things without finding a schematic. But I was like, we should probably check up here, because these are our power MOSFETs. Big thing that I'm looking at right now is none of the stuff that's right next to the actual power plug itself, which is this guy. So we don't have a short here, which is fine. Because this is the initial power circuit, power comes in, and goes through the board, and then this thick boy is the actual main power rail. And it doesn't look like we have any shorts on that. So if I had a short right there, then I could say, hey, definitely something to look at here. But we don't. We can follow it along. Let's go over this way. That leads us over to here. Not really anything going on over here. Probably all. These are diodes. They're one direction diodes. Got to figure out if this is actually the ground plane. Sure looks like it. Yeah, that's the ground plane. So the easiest way to test this. Yep. On the ground plane. That should be on the ground plane. Yeah. So, let's check. So we've already looked at here. We've already looked in here. About all the way over here. Doing anything going on over here? Nothing going on there. About all the way over here. Good over there. Good there. Rotate the board. So far, we've identified this guy. So what's on the other side of this is place. So this is the underside of this here. Let me see if that's just, it should just be adhesive on there. Yeah, it's just adhesive. Good there. Yeah. Not gonna lie, everything actually looks pretty good over here. What about these guys? This is the only one that's a little bit suspect, but I do believe what happens is if this resistor breaks, this will not allow electricity to flow this way. So this is like circuit protection. It is, because it's right underneath the power. I'm so smart. All right, so we're back over here. What we're gonna do is we've isolated this guy and this guy. Both of these unfortunately go into here. I can look up this chip. What we're gonna do is this side is ground because it literally has 0 ohms like capacitance or resistance. This side here is a side that we have a problem with. I love hunting, trying to find problems, and everything appears to be okay. Let's check some stuff over here again. Is there a short here? I think there's a short over in this area. This we have a short over here is on this, which isn't returning anything when we look at it under the thermal. Yeah, nothing. Check something here. We're gonna remove this Wi-Fi card and see if we can't follow this trace all the way. Well, the guy just said it wasn't turning on. He didn't explain that it wasn't. Like, he just said it wasn't getting to Windows. He didn't explain that it wasn't actually turning on at all. We'll follow this trace. Comes the thin one. Right now we're looking at this one. That comes all the way over to here. It's on the other side of this. So which one are you? So our two holes are those two. which, because of the way that this board is designed, goes literally nowhere. But, I mean, the fact that this comes all the way over to here is kind of crazy. Found another little short here. That's fine. That's not. We have a short here. So that would mean all of these are shorted then. Okay. Next area to check. This is one of those situations where, like, you're doing a lot of due diligence, just checking everything. You find things that are actively shorted. So, like here, we have a short. So, let's just keep marking things. So, we know we have a short here. Just literally right there. And I gotta see if I can find a schematic. We have one there. See if there's... Is there one, like, right next to it here? No. We have one over here, which is this one here. Other side of that is this. Do we have a short here? No. So it must not come all the way through the boards, or it's those. On this side of the board, that's fine. Fine. Good there. Good there. This. We're good there. Here. We have a short. So this. We have what I believe is a short here. My next step is looking at, see if I can find the schematic for this. I can look up this chip and find out this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if pin 9 is supposed to be ground, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure this side is supposed to be. That's what this is. And then here's our power connector. Everything over here is perfectly okay. That's all fine. All right, let's see if we can find a schematic for this. I can't find anything. Well, that just leaves me in a pickle. I can't even order this motherboard. Man, this is tough. How much more time I want to spend on this. Man, I really dislike these super heavy multi-layer boards like this. This board is at least 5 layers. But I didn't find any shorts on the back of this board except for right there. Right? All of these guys are good. There's another one. So capacitor. So this should just be a capacitor. That side's ground. It's not. Charge this guy tonight. We got another right here. We finally found something, which is this. First time we're getting like any sort of response when dealing with a short. So what is this? This is an IT 851-8. I guess, let me see if I got one of these. Just curious if all of the shorts that I'm chasing lead back to this. IT 8518. And if I don't have one, then we're going to pull it off. We're going to pull this chip off and we're going to see if that gets rid of all of our shorts across our board. Because if it does, then we know we've isolated it. There it is. What are the odds? IT 85180. IT 85180. So I have a spare. Let's put some... All right, back to this. So where we left off with this just like 15 minutes ago is we were out there looking for one of these. I actually was able to find one, thankfully. We're going to put some flux on here. And then we're going to rotate this like this so I can grab a hold of this. All right, so we're going to hit this 480 degrees. And then I have my airflow at 30. I have found that between 25 and 30 generally keeps components on the board. And we're just going to keep an eye on this until we start seeing those feet liquefy. Now we gotta check to see if we still have shorts. So our short was coming from... So this chip, having failed, is what caused our short. So now we get to see if I can repair that. All of these places that I had marked as short before, no longer shorted. So that ITE chip is what the problem was. So now, hooray, hooray. It was both positive and negative. So we were able to identify it. Now we're gonna have to look at this very closely to see how much damage actually happened here. Those are actually fine. Just putting the replacement chip in place should be good. Figure out this is going the opposite direction, which is going to there, so that should be fine. Just got to make sure it's lined up. This is the only one that I'm on. But I think both of these. So was that nothing? So what we have to see is we got to see if this, once we get down to this, that's the only one that actually came off with it. So we know that this is what was causing our... So now, what we need to do, we need to see if we can find that trace. So wherever this one, when I get the other one, I just happen to have. So let's get that guy off of there. Gonna be a little bit more, just a little bit more gentle with it. No, that is definitely corrosion on that. One leg that has corrosion. Is it just surface? Yeah, it looks like it was just surface corrosion. Thankfully. All right, let's put this over here. I need to look to see if I can follow that trace. See if we can find it. Just pray that it doesn't just dive into nowhere on the board. All right, I got like next to no room to work with here. Is this just a ground? I think this might just be a ground. That goes like nowhere. This trace goes to there. Do these both go to the same place? Does it go this way? Mysteries of the universe right now. Broken traces. Like I said, should not be a problem. Because once this gets actually lined back up, all of these pads, gentle, lifting that into place. All that I'm going to care about is getting this basically like that, and then we're just going to make sure it's underneath, like a dot of something there to hold that in place. We'll see. But I gotta charge up my grinding pen. Almost dead. I need to figure out which way this pad runs. Oh, use your brain, Chris. Still salvageable. As long as you don't mess it up more. Could this just be like a nothing pad as well? This might just be just like completely like not used. What are the odds that that pin actually did nothing? There's nothing on this side, and there's nothing on this side. So now we're going to take this off of here. We're going to swap this over, and we are going to run some creative wiring, figure out where that potentially went. I just wish I could see where the hell this is going. There's like no copper there whatsoever. There's no copper, there's no trace. Usually when you pull these back a little bit, you can see there's a trace coming off all of these. That one's going someplace. This one just doesn't. The rest of these all look like they're going somewhere. This one doesn't. Let's see if that goes to ground, maybe. Yeah, that would be the dream. That does not go to ground. That one doesn't look like it's connected. Oh, look, there's two more that stood up. Can't believe I did all this. All because of a phone call. Excuse my language. Needed to slow down. Let's get this thing off of here. So what I stopped doing while I was on that phone call was moving, and all I did is I sat in one place. So half of the chip got hot, the other half did not. That is how that should come off. So this is the only thing I'm concerned about looking at this is I noticed this before. There was corrosion on this. But I hope that didn't kill this chip. So like I said, I noticed this when I was, before I even took it off. All right, no, this is the one, this is our new one. So we're going to gently line all of these up. So we have to be careful, and this is going to involve just some delicate, not only hot air, but actually getting this all lined up. Okay. So that should be just about lined up. All right. As soon as I apply hot air to this thing, it's going to move. But what we got to do. All right. So now, this is going to be a very slow process. That did it. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's see. This is going to be a problem. Right here. We'll grab our extra tiny solder tip here. See how well this goes. That's everything. Let's clean that up. And then we need to figure out which of these other components is getting shorted. So after we put this chip back on, which is a power management chip, that short showed right back up. It's 3 o'clock, so it's 3:30, so I need to button this thing back up and say, hey man, you're in the market for a new computer. I can't even order this motherboard. Call them up and say, hey, I'd love to get this fixed for you. Unfortunately, nothing is available for this. Oh, this started off so promising. After all of that, going through, hitting up all of these parts, trying to figure out exactly what was going on, removing components, isolating that chip, getting that chip removed, getting that chip replaced because I actually had one. None of that actually mattered. Because unfortunately, wasn't the problem. So here we are at the end of this video. And unfortunately, I don't have a satisfactory conclusion to it. This is not something that I've spent a couple hours looking to see if I can order this motherboard. Cannot. And even like finding the schematics for this thing where it was impossible. So just one of those situations where it's not a very often purchased computer. So I just kind of stuck with that knowledge that there's no repair for this, unfortunately. I hate seeing tech die, but unfortunately where we're at with this. So I'm gonna do a backup for the customer, let them know here's where we're at. If there's anything else you want to have done with this, just let me know. We'll do what we can. But overall, it just isn't a bad situation. Just have a computer that's not popular in the first place. Let's see what's going on. And due to its lack of popularity, it's next to impossible to get these motherboards. The last motherboard that I saw sold for this thing was $35. Which should tell you about how popular this thing was or wasn't. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked that video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I stream daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpecVengeance. And yeah, if you want to learn more about my services, check out Bradenton PC Repair.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.